Are we started? Okay. Hey, welcome. It feels like we haven't had a chat for a while.
Yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, why?
Because you weren't here.
Oh, that's right. So I wasn't here a couple of weeks ago, and I'm actually going to the US again. Even though apparently Canadians are traveling, are canceling travel to the US en masse because apparently we hate America. I'm going, and every airplane I have been on has been completely full. So I'm just saying. The reason Canadians aren't going to the States is not because of.
You mean completely empty?
No, the planes I have been going on to Chicago, Detroit, they're chock full. They're full. There's no
But you
empty
just
seats.
said people are.
I said
Oh, there's.
apparently. That's what the news wants you to
Oh.
believe, but it's not happening.
Oh.
Okay, welcome. Welcome. Good morning. Yeah, it's not happening. So
Oh.
we got some, Canada right now is acting like a bunch of petulant children, right? And I
Yes.
was upset too at the beginning, and I'm like, wait a minute. Number one, they're not going to annex Canada. That language has never been used. And number two,
What does
what?
annex mean?
Annex means like just take over, like just roll
Oh.
through with tanks and take over.
You know
It's
the
like it's not gonna happen. Come on, you bunch of stupid Canadian
you
bastards.
know the brewery company Annex?
No,
The one local here?
no.
Oh, it's pretty good. They make good root beer.
Oh, do they? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't. I didn't know that.
Annex. If you come to Calgary, try Annex.
So anyway, this last few weeks has been very tumultuous, shall we say? Trump
Wait, can
gets
you dumb it down?
has
Too
been
tired.
very up and down with pluses and minuses. So Trump and Doge started. So Elon Musk is going through all the fraud
Oh,
and
pluses and
waste.
minuses. It's warm.
It is warm now. It was minus 30. Now it's plus 7.
Yeah. So you can continue your
Um,
political talk.
so the Canadians won the Nation of Four tournament, Four Nations tournament, beat the Americans. It was a big game, and apparently we're the best in the world now because we beat them in overtime.
We as in who? Oilers?
No, the Canadian team. It was a mix of all the NHL players playing against all the mix of American NHL players playing against Sweden and Finland. They did well, but they didn't, of course, didn't beat the Americans or the Canadians. Um, so in the end, Canada won on a goal by McDavid in the end. So for people that don't understand hockey, there's a little bit of a rivalry between America and Canada because the NHL spans Canada and the United States. Most of the players are Canadian, but Americans are very, very good. And so the final game of the tournament was between America and Canada, and everybody's talking crap on social media, well, including Trump, including Trudeau, who's a dick anyway, about who's going to win, and Canada won in overtime. So it was interesting. So Canadians all had pride, and it was, Canada this, kind of that, and number one, Americans don't care, and even if they did, they still don't care. So Canada's got its problems. But anyway, so that was cool. And then what else?
Airplane crash in Toronto.
Airplane crash in Toronto. The airplane was driven by an Asian woman.
I'm cutting that out.
No, you have to leave it in. I'm just joking. It wasn't an Asian woman. It was just a woman. But I don't think that had anything to do with it. But if you go online, you can watch some footage of the airplane coming in, and it was descending at about 11 or 1,200 feet per minute. When on a normal descent, the normal descent rate is between 700 and 800 feet per minute for that particular aircraft. So something wasn't right. So I'm sure, they get the black box and they'll do an investigation. We may or may never know what's going on. But the plane did crash and the plane was not landed right, was not landed correctly.
Yeah,
Apparently, obviously. Thing
obviously.
flipped upside down, and I think it was a Delta airplane. And so Delta is really crazy. So if you're on the airplane, nobody died. Delta offered everybody 30 grand, right? But you get the 30 grand, you still get to sue.
Mm.
So who knows what's going on, right? So, because normally they would offer 30 grand and then you'd have to sign a thing saying you're not going to sue anymore. But they don't. They're not, and you can still sue. The problem with suing is that it could be in court for years,
Yeah.
and the only people that win are the lawyers. Because the lawyers say, okay, if you win, we're going to take 40 or 50 or 60%. So you might win an extra 100 grand. After fees, might be on only another 30,
Mm.
right? And it could take years, right? So,
Just take the 30 and move on.
yeah, and just move on with your life. Take that 30
Yeah.
that they're going to give you without um, without any strings attached, and just do something with it. It's not life changing money, 30 grand for most people, but it's not a kick in the butt with a sharp cowboy boot either.
Yeah.
So I mean, right? You could pay off car loans, you could pay off student loans and stuff. So so that was interesting. And what else? It did get really warm, so it was -30 here, and then the temperature fluctuated and it moved up almost 40 degrees, so it's +7. It's quite nice today.
It is nice. I don't have to wear my coat today.
Yeah, I mean, you go out in the morning with a coat because you're used to wearing a coat, and it's like, crap, it's hot, right?
Yeah.
The heat's not even on in your car at +7.
No, I have
Right.
the windows down.
Yeah, the window's down. Do you even turn on the air conditioning at +7? Maybe. Because the inside of the car heats up from the sun, right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's nice. It's
What else?
pretty.
Markets, markets went down a lot. So now's the time to invest, or do we wait? So interest rates. So a lot of, Ukraine this, Ukraine that. It's there's a lot of turmoil. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Have you seen the memes of Delta airline?
No.
All their like Delta ads that people are making are all upside down.
Oh yeah. I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah. Oh, they're
So,
so funny.
well, without knowing the facts of why the airplane crashed, everybody, well, not everybody, but the right, I think is just having fun with it.
People are having fun with it.
So the left would blame that America is cutting all the air traffic controllers,
Mm.
which number one may or may not be true, and number two, it happened in Toronto. So American air traffic controls has nothing to do with it. And on the right, everybody's saying, well, it's because it was an unqualified woman flying the airplane. Well, there's no evidence of that either, right? So you have these, on the bell curve, you have these extremes making the most noise, where in the middle you have thinking people that are like, well, nobody knows yet, so why don't we just wait? Right? It's
Yeah.
crazy, right? But social media gets those two extremes being the loudest.
Yeah. But the memes are funny.
The memes are hilarious.
Yeah. I had to download Instagram back on my phone for work, so now I'm scrolling on my phone at work
Yeah, it's dangerous.
for marketing.
Yeah, it's no good.
I hate it
But
now.
it's funny. But it is
I
funny.
hate it, but it's funny. I saw that and I was like, at first I didn't get it, and then I got it after, but
Then you got it?
yeah.
That's funny.
Because I didn't know it was Delta Airlines that had the plane crash.
Hmm?
So I didn't get the meme at first. I didn't know why it was upside down.
That's interesting. So, yeah, so a lot of turmoil, a lot of fun, a lot of interesting stuff. Of course, the internet's always a pleasure to walk through. One of the other things I found this last week was so up till now I've been building, like I use AI a lot to get information and understand things and build things for work sometimes. Public information, leveraging public information to build stories and stuff for my work. But I went through and I found a prompt that makes ChatGPT. It's a prompt to get a better prompt,
Mm.
and it's absolutely changed the game. So the prompt that I use now is a full page and a half, and it's got all this stuff in there, and at the bottom there's and I fill it in what I need, and at the bottom there's a thematic thing, and I can fill that in as well. And I copy paste that and put it in and get the right prompt, because I have a GPT that I built to create prompts, create the prompt, and then dump that into normal GPT, Chat GPT. I'm getting the best prompts and the best content I've ever got. It's absolutely stunning, unbelievable. So that's really helped build not only things for work, but I had to go to the doctor yesterday, so I leveraged that prompt to try and get some information about the things I was concerned with. I have to. I've been working a lot with Japanese companies in my work, so I've been leveraging it, and I've noticed, like, if you go in to ChatGPT or whatever and say, translate this sentence,
Mhm.
it'll give you the sentence, right?
Mhm.
But if you go and use the prompt that I got and built and adjust a little bit, and you go in and say, I have to translate this sentence from English to Japanese. You have passed the JLPT level 1 test. You are a business, like, and make it very specific about how complex you want the sentence
Mm.
and the structure and the rigidity. to be in terms of Japanese language. You know how they got the honorifics and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was crazy.
Hmm.
So, and then you put that into like Google Translate, and then you put the prompt, and then you put the English you want into ChatGPT, and what you get is absolutely completely different. And I had your mom read the ChatGPT output after the prompt. Perfect, honorific, business level language. I hardly had to touch. I had to touch up a little bit, but hardly any. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
So that was a good discovery. Lots of discovery, lots of news, lots of fun.
Yeah.
So that's it. Well, that's not it, but anything else?
Vancouver,
What about Vancouver?
the earthquake.
Oh, they had an earthquake. Tell me about it.
I don't know anything about it. Mutsu just told me this morning. He said, "Did you hear there was an earthquake?" And I took that in as there was an earthquake today.
Oh.
Because he didn't tell me it was yesterday.
Hmm.
And I was like, "What the heck? Is Elliot okay?"
Because your
But she's
sister lives in Vancouver.
yeah, because she lives in like what Florida she lives on 20 something.
Oh, she's on 28th or 32nd
Yeah.
or something.
So
Yeah.
I was like, "What the heck?" And then I read the article and it was from yesterday, and I thought, "Oh, I spoke to her yesterday." She's
But
fine.
how many? What was the level?
I think it was 4.8 or 5.2 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
5.2 at the epicenter, and then 4.8 in like downtown Vancouver.
Yeah. And
She said she felt it.
she said she felt it, but she thought it was just a really obese person jumping up and down on that.
I think she said that. She was just being silly.
She's being silly, but I thought, and her workplace were all joking about that too,
So
because we're like, wait,
like in that, I don't know how much the buildings sway, but in Japan, for example, with the really tall buildings in Tokyo, Osaka, and stuff, when there's earthquake, they actually sway, right?
yeah,
People
so
get
it'll make
seasick at the top, right?
it'll make the magnitude feel way bigger than
Yeah,
it actually
it
is.
feels like you're literally
Yeah.
falling out. Feels like
Yeah.
you're drunk, right?
So
Ready to fall.
that's what I was thinking, because I thought, oh, 5.2 and then 4.8 in downtown, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, the building must have, did its thing, and then I had to think about that for a second. I was like, wait, Canada doesn't do that. Japan
I
does that.
don't know. I don't know how they're built in Vancouver with earthquakes. They're earthquake, to a certain extent, they're earthquake proof, and they borrowed some technology from Japan. But I don't know to what extent those tall buildings have that built in, like Japan or Taiwan.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't think it's as advanced as
Yeah,
Japan's, because
might not
Japan
be.
gets them way more often
Yeah, they get
than
them often
Vancouver.
bigger.
Yeah. So anyway, I was imagining that. I was imagining her like toppling over, and then I thought, what the heck am I thinking? That's that's not it.
Well, a
I'm
lot of
not
people
thinking
like
it.
people know that there's the Ring of Fire, right? Not after you eat Mexican food, but like on the coast of Japan, and right. So it comes all the way down from Alaska, right through Vancouver, Vancouver Island, Seattle, and then all the way down through Los Angeles, right, and then to South America. That is all continental plate moving, right? So Vancouver's right there. Vancouver gets big earthquakes. Alaska gets big earthquakes, but Vancouver hasn't had a really big one for a while,
Mhm.
right? So a lot of people think it would just fall in the ocean. So I don't mind if it falls in the ocean as long as my kid isn't there. It's kind of a dump.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. But if Ali is there, I don't want it to fall in the ocean.
Yeah, let's not hope that it
Yeah. It's like, well, if California fell in the ocean, I don't know that too many people would be sad. Loss of life notwithstanding. But anyway, we'll see.
Okay.
But Earth, Vancouver has them. Alberta gets them sometimes, but they're usually small and very, once or twice a year.
Alberta gets earthquakes?
We get earthquakes. Google it. Two, level 2, level 3, or whatever it's called. Small ones. We got the Rockies, right? So they're smacking up against each other from time to time.
I just learned something new.
Some people say it's because of fracking.
Oh, I've heard that word
Yeah,
before.
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never heard.
But yeah, it's scary stuff. Because if you have really big earthquake, a city like Los Angeles falls apart once there's earthquake. Well, Vancouver's completely unprepared, so that city would fall apart even further.
Yeah.
So luckily,
Speaking about earthquakes, I was my aunt sent us a PDF file of what Kure or Hiroshima will be expecting with a tsunami, like when that big earthquake hits Japan. And I've seen that map before. And I feel like this big earthquake, I was talking about it with Mutsu a couple months ago. No one, The Japanese government didn't care much until they calculated and realized that Tokyo will be hit pretty bad, pretty bad. And I think that's when the government really started taking it seriously because
Well,
they always
311 made it happen, right?
yeah, yes, but at the same time, like after 311, they knew it was gonna happen, but they didn't think Tokyo was gonna be hit as hard as they predict it now. Does that make sense? Like they knew Tokyo was gonna be hit, but not to the extreme.
Well,
Like not to the like what they have estimated.
311 woke a bunch of people up. That's all. But the problem is, okay.
But anyway, the point I'm trying to say is, I think what the shift that I'm seeing in Japan since living there for high school and then now is that there is a huge, maybe I don't know if it's huge, but there is a boom in religion again.
It's bigger. It's definitely more.
And
Feels
you
like it.
see it more obviously in animes and movies.
Mm-hmm.
And more 311 movies as well to
Yeah.
show how much of an impact it made to Japan.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting just because of how Japanese people are going back to its religious roots.
So why do you think 311 would have made that happen?
Because a lot of families were affected.
Well, how many people died?
I don't know the numbers.
About 30,000, I think.
That's a lot of people.
30,000 people died. Millions of homes were ruined. Millions of pieces of property were completely ruined. Billions of dollars in damage.
Still ruined.
Still ruined because of the nuclear facility, right?
Oh, not just that, but like different parts of like the inaka. So like the
Yeah, you can't live there.
how do you say inaka? Countryside.
Well, right, so everybody had to move out of the countryside, and the government's not going to build all that stuff up again.
Because it's expensive.
It's expensive, and all old people they're not going to do it. So, all that land is pretty much abandoned.
Yeah.
There are people slowly moving back because people are buying property there and slowly moving back into these areas, but it's largely abandoned still.
Yeah. Or there are locals that wants the tourism, wants the people to come back to those countrysides so then they can have a community again.
I feel bad. I really feel
really
bad
hard.
for those areas,
Like
right?
Watanabe-ken, I think he's doing a huge project in one of those places that was hit. I think he has like a pizza store and then some other things out there. I don't remember which town it was, but like he has like a whole community happening.
Like if Japanese government and business and private business really wanted to help Japan, it would give massive incentives because they're spending the money anyway, printing it. Massive incentives to get business and people to move out of Tokyo. Right? A couple of reasons. Number one, you got to get all that money out into the rest of Japan. Number two, like you said, if Tokyo has this huge earthquake, you can have so many people die. Not only during the actual earthquake, but afterwards, because you're not going to be able to get any water or food to anybody.
Mm-hmm. And then the tsunami's going to hit after.
Right.
It's going to be
a disaster.
Insane.
If I lived in Japan, the last place I'd want to live is Tokyo. I just wouldn't want to live there. Yeah. Right? So.
Yeah. I don't have much to say. Mutsu experienced it firsthand. I always forget about that.
Where were you? Where was Mutsu?
Oh, wait.
Oh, well, it did. What was it up there? 5 or 6?
6.
6? Yeah. So the whole island of Japan moved like 1.3 meters. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole island moved 1.3 meters closer to China. That's
big.
Not only is it big, the amount of power, the amount of force needed to move an entire landmass the size of the island of Japan, that's like hundreds and thousands of nuclear bombs going up. That's how much energy is needed to move it, and no wonder the destruction was so big.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And I remember in high school, these the students that I went to school with, they were obviously affected, and so we would have like like a moment of silence on
Yeah,
311. They would talk
absolutely.
about their personal experiences.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was anyway. So I think that preparation, that talk, and people that experience 311 are now my age
Uh-huh.
that are able to go into have a career in art or
Yeah.
film to
And
really show what they have experienced.
share those
Yeah,
feelings.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In the
And
Japanese way. Yeah.
yeah, and allowing that, like sharing that and making others, not just the Japanese but outside of Japan, right, experience that emotionally, that emotional roller coaster, I think are waking up Japanese people unconsciously as well
Yeah.
to practice their roots, to go back
Give more meaning than
to
just
like some
yeah.
comfort or
Yeah.
something.
I don't
But
know.
I that's what I've have have noticed, which is pretty
Like I
cool.
would love, like we've never been up that way, so we went to Kanazawa. I would love to land and then go up that coast, skipping Fukushima, of course, but going up as far as you can to some of those little areas that were impacted and see what they're like. I would spend my money there. So we'll have to see what brings us next, all the way up to Aomori and then into Hokkaido. But you're right. Yeah, that's it's definitely a shift.
Yeah, because I remember visiting Aomori and then seeing they have little like plates that says this is 5 meters.
Yeah,
How do
yeah,
I say it? Like it would say the tsunami came up to here and this is five
yeah,
meters, and
yeah,
tsunami came up to here and this is however many meters. So there's
yeah,
like little plates telling you, like if you go up the stairs to somewhere,
yeah.
it
And you're
gives
like,
you an
holy crap, that's a lot
image.
of water.
Yeah, yeah, it gives you an image of like how high this tsunami was,
Yeah.
and yeah. Anyway, so just
No, I think not.
thankful
I
for
think
that.
some of the waves were 90 meters,
I don't know how big they
right?
were, but yeah,
So 90
big.
meters is almost 200, is just around 250 feet high.
Yeah,
That's 90 meters is 9 stories of a 9 story building. So if you stand at the bottom of a building and look up and count 9 floors, that's how high the tide waves were.
that's huge.
It's
That's
not huge.
scary.
That's crazy,
That's scary.
right? So yeah, if that ever happened, if that hit Tokyo or whatever, right?
That
So
would, yeah,
like
Tokyo would.
those tunnels that go from the tunnel that goes under the bay, right? From across the bay, and then you go into the tunnel, and then you can head into Tokyo from Narita. Like that would all be flooded. Like it's just such a
Can you imagine driving there and then the earthquake
well, you're
hits?
toast, right? And it'd be so
Oh,
scary. I don't
wait,
even
I
want to
have
think about it.
goosebumps.
But then if Tokyo got hit, dude, the economic it would just reverberate throughout the economies of the world, stock markets. It'd be insane,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
ugh,
So
I have goosebumps all over my
yeah,
body.
hundreds of thousands of people. It's no good to think about. But yeah, so your original point was yeah. So all these people are worried about where a tsunami would come and destroy their town. So now people are thinking about storing water, storing food, storing fuel. The problem is like the practicalities of storing that kind of stuff in Japan are really, that's logistically a nightmare. Your houses are already small. If you're on the first or second floor, it ain't gonna help you, right?
Yeah, you need to
If
run
your
up.
house, as a lot of Japanese houses are full of crap, right?
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, the water comes in and just destroys your house, and then you can't even get out anywhere, let alone dig out the water bottles that you had, right? So,
And so, like, there's backpacks, and you have to have the backpacks ready, and
well, then you have
they're
to pray that you're at home when it hits,
yeah, that's true. I didn't
right?
even think of that.
That's
Yeah.
that's why go bags and stuff for that kind of thing are good, and you should probably have one. But there's so many factors there's so many things that have to happen at the right time for you to leverage
Mm-hmm.
being able to grab your go bag,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a natural disaster where you have no time
Mm-hmm.
to react, right? So if you have a go bag with your water and all your other stuff in it, and you can actually carry the thing, forget all the old people that you live with that are 90 and can't even walk downstairs, in normal times, let alone during a emergency like that. You have to be home. That means you're not at work, and Japanese people work late,
Yeah.
and your kids at home. They're not out with sports or at juku. and then the old people can, and then it doesn't flood your first or second floor, and then right, and then the roads are passable. With go bags for natural disasters, is I love the idea, and it might give people some comfort. The practicalities are there. Everything has to be at the right time, at
I
the
didn't
right
think of
place,
that.
right?
Yeah,
They
I
have
didn't
to
think
be.
of that.
Now, if you're talking like civil war or some insurrection, or you know the utilities stop working, and your car kind of works, and or it doesn't, you can kind of get around a city, kind of. Even that's dicey. Um, but a go bag is very practical when you can plan for what you think is about to happen.
Mm,
Other than that, they're impractical.
mm.
Even you put them in your car. Oh, I have one in my car because then we'll drive in. Well, you know, your family's not with you. Your kids are at school. Your wife is at work. You're at work. Like, what are the practicalities? Very. Um, it doesn't mean you shouldn't prepare, but you just have to realize the limitations and um, live life. You can't be in fear. You just have to go on.
Yeah. Have a plan that will keep you going.
Yeah, have a plan.
Have a
Hope your
plan.
cell phone works,
Yeah.
right? If
Walkie-talkies.
Well, yeah, I mean, line of sight walkie-talkies are probably best. Now you got to carry your own batteries.
Yeah.
Your walkie-talkies can't be limited to 2 or 3 miles. You got to get the expensive ones that are good for 30 miles. Those are expensive, right? They can't have rechargeable batteries. Where the hell are you going to plug them in, right? Gasoline, your gasoline's good unless you get a lot of water in it,
Mm.
right? And it's not like you can go buy gasoline. There's going to be a shootout at the gas station.
In Japan, it won't be a shootout. It'll be
In
more
Japan,
of
there
a
won't be
stabbing.
well, even then, Japanese people line up diligently and be calm, but not here. It would be a complete disaster. America would be a war, right?
Yeah, surviving.
In the United States,
Yeah.
it would be crazy.
But the amount of innovative things that have come out of this, though, this preparation, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was telling your mom that they have powdered water now.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I'm also joking because that's not possible.
Oh,
But
okay.
okay.
But whatever it is, like the stuff that they come up with. Okay, I'm keeping that in because that's whatever. But whatever it is that they have created for solely for this emergency, it's really cool. The innovative stuff that has come out of it,
Well, yeah,
because it's really challenging and pushing people
to
to
think.
think outside the box.
Yeah, so like,
Yeah.
a decade ago or when you were little, 20 years ago, we had go bags, right? And we had to fill them with food, and they got really heavy and bulky. Well, now, because you're not really worried about what you're eating, you're just worried that you are eating.
Yes.
Fill your go bag with protein bars. Yeah, is it fun? No, but fill it with protein bars and those kind of, and they have all these fuel bars, right? So take those meals ready to eat. They're heavy, but they don't take up a lot of space. You don't need fresh water, right? Especially in Canada, you got the river; it's very close. All you need to do is make sure that you have one of those
The filter
the
things.
filter things.
Yeah.
They're pretty good,
Yeah. And
right?
they're not expensive.
They're not expensive,
Yeah.
right? So like the thing you're gonna need most is if you're a woman, feminine products and toilet paper.
And water and
Well,
food.
again, we just determined
Oh,
water you
okay.
can
Yeah,
get,
sorry.
right? So yeah, have some water, right? And then it means to defend yourself, whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
Um,
But I'm talking more like yes, protein bars, but have you seen like we brought home the rice that you can just
yeah,
put
yeah,
hot
yeah.
water in
You
it?
just dump the hot water in it, and
It yeah, so it's like oatmeal. It's like oatmeal packet, but there's freeze-dried rice in there, and you just put hot water and you close it and you shake
you
it
get a
up.
rice ball.
Yeah, and you get a rice ball.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
they last for like a decade or
Yeah.
whatever.
Only problem is you need fresh water. That's the only problem with that, but like that's still really cool
But that's the
that they
thing,
came
right?
up with that.
There's rivers all over Japan, and even if they've been dirtied, unless it's by nuclear or something, you can use the
yeah.
filter.
Yeah.
And you can have a plastic bottle. Plastic bottles are over. You can clean those, and you can filter it once. If you're really nervous, filter it twice.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, it's possible with all the things, or bleach, tastes like crap, but you can bleach tablets and stuff
Mm.
and filter your water with that way cheesecloth and stuff, but you don't need to carry it all around. But you better be prepared to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's gonna be, yeah.
In the summer, you're gonna be hot, sweaty, and gross, so you better not mind stinking.
Oh, in Japan?
Yeah. And in the winter here, you're gonna be cold as hell. You better not mind tearing down your walls and lighting them on fire to create fire, right? Right.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is medicine, right? So up here, then our natural disasters in Alberta wouldn't be too bad. The worst I could think of is maybe some flooding or some fire. That kind of stuff. But in a big city, you're gonna have unrest, right? You're not gonna have the fire. You're gonna have unrest. You're gonna have lack of access to food and sanitation,
Mm-hmm.
violence.
Mm-hmm.
There will be violence. Um, it's not fun to think about. And then cash won't do anything for you.
Mm-mm.
It really
You'll be
won't.
trading something that you
Well, you're,
have.
you're bartering at that point, right?
Yeah.
Because people say, "Oh, well, if the machines go down, I'll use cash." But what people don't understand is small business might be able to take cash, but when networks are down, try to pay cash. At big box stores, you can't even pay cash for stuff when the system's down because they have no way of recording the transaction.
Mm.
So it's just like,
Well,
everything's down.
you can do it old school. You can write it down. I feel like Japan. Okay. I feel like
Dude, nobody's gonna write it down.
Japan will write it down.
They would lose track of inventory. They would, yeah, cash coming in and stuff, cash going out. But they would lose control
I
of
feel like
inventory.
Japan will write. What do you think, Mitsu? What happened when you experienced it?
They were giving frozen food for free.
Well, yeah, because your freezer's broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were lining up.
People are lining up nicely.
Yeah.
In Canada, they might give away frozen food, but there's sure as hell no niceness about it.
No.
Or in America.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Los Angeles? If all the freezers stopped working and people would just start looting.
Yeah.
And if they saw you had stuff and they went to the store, there was nothing for them to loot or take because they had to feed their family, and they saw you taking your shopping cart to your truck full of stuff, what's going to happen?
Can you imagine all the foreigners that might be there during the earthquake?
It's crazy. Why do we get on this topic? Because it's not very fun. But you know what? Guess what's down just 5 minutes from our house? Guess what's in the river valley down there?
Water?
Deer,
Oh.
water, ducks.
Yeah.
Guess what we're eating if that happens? Deer, ducks. That's neighborhood cats.
Ew. I don't
Oh, maybe
want to
not
do
cats.
that. I don't want to do that.
But there's all sorts of deer down there, and there's ducks, and there's geese. That's what we're eating. We can cook that stuff. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you better be prepared to defend yourself. So anyway, interesting topic. But more practical than that, you need to be financially prepared, because those are the things that are more likely to happen. Job loss, recessions, depressions. Those are the things that are easier to prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
Those other disasters are you can prepare, but all the stars have to align for you to leverage all the things that you've prepared, and that's the difficult part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
stay out of debt, use your money wisely, have some cash at home just in case, be prepared to barter, and be prepared to barter your skills. And that way, if job loss does come, nobody could take your house. They might be able to kick you out of your rented place, but even that would be iffy. Government would bring in probably rules. You can't kick. So I would never be a landlord. Because they come up in COVID, they came up with rules. You can't kick anybody out of your rental, even if they don't pay.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing would happen. So if you're a rentor, good. If you're a rentee, good luck.
Mm.
So you wanna solve for peace in any case, and so whatever brings you peace, even though at the time you might not be able to leverage all of it,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be content that you've done your best in getting prepared. So everyone, prepare as good or as well as you can. Be content in your preparation, and then if poo does hit the fan, you have to adapt and you have to retrench and adapt and then overcome. Simple. It's not simple, but that's what you have to do. So good luck. I've talked too much. Oh, by the way, next week I'm in Detroit, so we'll have to do a podcast again on the weekend.
On the weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do that. Well, thanks for listening. Sorry if this was a little bit of a downer.
Not
but
a
it's
downer, but
real talk.
real talk.
Real talk. Because sometimes you need to think about things that you don't want to think about.
That's right.
And this is one of them.
But we try to have fun, so give some ideas and
Yeah.
some things to think about.
But I just hope that the foreigners that visit Japan, some of them don't have patience. And if this does hit
Well,
while
Japanese
they're there, I hope people will...
Japanese people need to be prepared to kick ass on unruly foreigners.
Which I don't think they would.
I don't think Japanese people would, but they need to be prepared to do so.
Yeah.
I'm
Not just
talking
the
like
foreigners.
beating them with sticks.
Not just the foreigners, but like just...
Well, there's lots of unruly
Just
Japanese,
not-
but
yeah.
in general, right? In general, it would be the foreigners, and Japan's got to be prepared to beat the crap out of them and put them in the ground, literally. Yeah.
You can do it.
You can do it, Japan.
Japan, you can do it.
Kick foreigners' asses. Right? All right.
Only when necessary.
That's right. All right, let's go eat some steak.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye.